movies, TVs, blogs, and more. This is Blogger's Corner with Britt and Dr. Bones.
Welcome to a new episode of Blogger's Corner, the Dr. Bones Show. I'm Britt from eclecticpop.com, and welcome the host of the most, Dr. Bones. How are you doing today, Dr. Bones?
Very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing well.
So, let's kick it off here first. Like I just told you, I didn't get a chance to watch the new Arrow, but I did watch last week's, and it was all right. I mean, I kind of like the fact that what's the name? I think it's called the Wild Tiger or Wildcat. The person that Laurel's training with right now.
Oh, right, yeah, I think it's Wildcat.
So, Wildcat. Anyways, apparently, Wildcat is actually was a character in the comics. So, it looks like, and pretty much sounds like I guess I didn't see the episode, but I heard they were showing hints of, essentially that Laurel will be, the Black Canary.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty confirmed deal. She's going to take over the mantle.
And the other thing I found out too is that because people are still upset about Sarah being killed. I mean, like, I don't really see why. I mean, personally, but anyways, so with the Sarah gone, Sarah was only meant to be a temporary character to begin with. She was never meant to be like season by season. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And but like I said, with the trading, so pretty much what's going to end up happening is once Laurel is officially the Black Canary, she'll be Wildcat's sidekick, essentially.
Neat. And
the thing is, we're going to have to see is how they're going to kind of blend them into the Arrow team. Because it should be interesting now. Because right now, apparently, she's kind of fighting crime, but she hasn't kind of completely embraced the character yet because she doesn't have her outfit, uniform, whatever you want to call it. And the one that's being shown, you can see online, is her with police batons. So those are going to be her weapons.
Oh, nice.
So it should be interesting, and it looks like they are going to be mixing a little bit more with the Flash as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And but yeah, the last episode, I mean, you were right. They showed Felicity home, and wow, did they ever dress her mom up to look like a hoochie? So I was like, okay, we kind of see where the looks came from, and obviously the black dress, which obviously I'm a big fan of. So from the episode before when she went out with a Flash. So, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see when she said, well, the ex-boyfriend, because he was the hacktivist sort of thing, right? And saying, well, no, he hung himself before trial, and of course, even though they're saying that we kind of all knew he wasn't dead to begin with.
Yes.
And then he comes back. It's like, oh, there's a surprise. So, kind of, so it was one of those things you kind of knew it was coming with that one. But the one thing I thought was interesting was, like you said, the last times when they said, well, we got to stop this, and she's like, I can't. And she's like, I wrote this program. Like, uh-oh. Okay, it's one of those.
Fighting herself.
Right, exactly. It's one of those moments where it's the dun dun dun. You know? So it was all right, but I still like I'm not completely sold on it. I mean, I just want to see them do a better job. And some people online, from what I've heard, I don't watch these things myself. They're like on YouTube, that sort of thing. But they're saying, oh, the writer's doing such a good job. It's like, are they really? Because look at the past like 3-4 episodes. I haven't really been all that impressed.
I have to agree with you, and just because you did see it. For me, when I saw Felicity's backstory, that was nothing like I'd imagine that her story was going to be. Once again, on Arrow, everybody has to have this backstory where they're very jaded, they're just melancholy. That's not really the Felicity that I pictured. Was that, you've seen this character for 2 seasons, was that the backstory you were expecting to hear about Felicity Smoke?
Not even close. And the backstory I was thinking about was kind of like she is now, like kind of the bit of the nerd sort of thing, but high achiever, but still kind of having a little bit of a bad side, but not to that extent.
Yeah, exactly. I thought she was going to be the science fair geek who was kind of unpopular. She was on the outside looking in on a social level, and now she never had any friends, and because Team Arrow is now her friends, and kind of being a social, maybe a nerd, someone who people made fun of, but obviously is super physically and it has a super brain, and so just didn't really find a way to fit in. She couldn't fit in with a popular girl. She didn't fit in with the geeks. So I saw that character. This girl with the dragon tattoo character they shoved on us, that did not work for me at all.
I know, the black hair and everything else, and well, obviously she and her mom even talked about it, right? Well, she goes, oh, and the blonde hair. She goes, we're not really blonde. You dyed it. Oh, yeah. But I think the interesting thing was he kind of knew he was going to play some sort of a role later on, was when the mom shows up at her house and her boss is there. Not Arrow, the Superman guy. I can't remember her boss's name. But point being...
Ray Palmer?
Thank you. But the watch she gave her mom, that prototype watch, like, you knew that was going to play a role in some sort of shape or form, and it did. It was actually kind of cool the way it did when she was tied up, and... So I thought that it was interesting, but I'm still like kind of waiting and looking for more because it's still just not quite grabbing me.
Yeah, this past week's episode was good. I thought it was good. The Ted Grant character, who apparently is going to be this Wildcat persona,
yeah.
He's really great on the show. I really like the actor, and I felt like he's bringing something different to the show. But Oliver comes off like such an ass compared to every other guy on the show. He just seems like he's too cool for school. He's very arrogant. They're losing a lot by just how unheroic. He does heroic things. Like, he just doesn't have a heroic personality that is making me believe in him as a superhero.
Yeah, he's kind of he's more of a kind of playing a douche at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And he always makes a point to say, I used to be a rich douche in the past. I'm like, dude, you still are one.
Yeah, you're going to bring it back full circle here.
Right.
So I just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm just hoping they improve it a little bit more, just because, like I said, it's starting to kind of fall on deaf ears. Like, I'm kind of trying to get bored with it.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when you contrast that with The Flash.
Well, that's right. And it's not a good thing, because, like I said, just the past few weeks, I mean, it's not that I haven't wanted to see the episode, and like I just haven't had the time, but at the same time too is I'm not in an immediate rush like I was before. Before I want to sit down and watch what's going on, I'm more looking forward to the Flash episodes as opposed to Arrow at this point.
Yeah, me too.
But the Flash, this episode was really good. So I'm gonna let you lead with this one, and then we'll converse about it.
Okay, this week. The metahuman of the week is kind of what I'm going to call that, was Plastique, or later christened Plastique by Cisco. And she is a girl or I guess a woman, who had, basically she could explode things. She turned everything into an explosive. And so Barry and the team were trying to help her out because she was on escape. The government turned her into this, so she was trying to find a way to reverse it. She doesn't want to be a metahuman. Kind of contrast with Barry, who's really digging being a metahuman, and the team trying to, help her out. Meanwhile, Barry has issues at home. Iris is trying to get closer to finding out who the Streak is, and it was a cool scene. He disguises himself and appears to Iris, trying to throw her off his scent, but she's very determined, and Barry and her have sort of, I want to say a friendship breakup, but they go through a tumultuous time, and he basically, at the end of the episode, she's really disheartened because Barry won't let her in, and they've been very, very close. Meanwhile, Joe is wanting Barry to work very hard to keep him off of the whole the Barry's the Flash thing, so it's kind of bringing a little bit of attention to their relationship. I did enjoy the episode a lot. I think I read online where some people kind of want the Iris Barry thing, they want to resolve it. I don't know why there are a lot of secrets Barry's keeping. I don't know why Barry doesn't want to just tell Iris how he feels. I do get the whole secret identity thing, and I am very grateful the show does have someone who doesn't know his identity, because that gets very boring when everybody's in on the secret. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And speaking of Joe, I mean, it was kind of interesting that because, like he said, Flash said to Joe, I've tried to tell her not to, but she's just not listening to me, and he goes, and I tell her everything. He's like, well, not everything. He's like, what? He goes, you knew? He's like, yeah. He goes, how would you know? He goes, I've known for years. I've just been waiting for you to go and tell her. And
Yes.
I thought that was really interesting in showing that, like, obviously, Joe's character is supposed to be very intuitive, that sort of thing. But it shows like kind of the father care sort of thing, that he knew the entire time what was going on, like he could completely read it. Obviously, being a detective, it helps out a lot more, but still, they kind of played all the angles on that one, like detective, father, intuitive person.
Yes, Joe is very multifaceted.
So it made it interesting, more, well, I'm not saying exciting is not the word I'm looking for, but yeah, it just made it more interesting. And I think it was funny when Flash said, like, I told her as a Flash that you gotta stop writing the stuff. He goes, well, didn't you recognize your voice? He's like, no, I can vibrate my vocal cords by doing this. And he starts laughing. He goes, wait, that is so cool. And just the fact that he's into this whole thing. He's not thrown off by it. So it's just Joe is a big role character player in this show.
Yeah, he's really critical to the show, and he's just been so fantastic. And his whole thing when Barry did tell him about the vocal cords, it was just so natural. Like you think to yourself often on these shows, why don't people kind of react more like a normal person would about this really bizarre, circumstance? And Joe, he makes it real for me.
Exactly. Well, he started laughing right away. He's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And that would be kind of like a regular person's reaction. It's like, "No way, you effing did that? That's so."
Exactly.
So it's something that I'd be laughing about and wanting to know how to do. Obviously, you can't because it's impossible because of the whole speed thing. But still, it's just one of those things. I definitely start laughing right away if I heard that.
Me too.
It'd be like someone saying, "Well, I just I pinched my nose and put a mustache on or something." Something like that. It worked. Well, I think so. She seemed to buy it.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Obviously, this is a lot cooler. But point being is, it's that general idea right there.
Precisely.
But the thing is, obviously, with the general, is it Eisler is his name?
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that. It's not. It's Eisler, or I'm not sure, but I think I'm almost 100% positive it's Eisler. Anyways, so with him, like at the end, during the huge battle, when she goes to when the plastic goes to kill him, because that's what the doctor told her to do, which was just setting her up. But when she shot at him, and of course, think he's dead. Of course not. Like there's a news broadcast later that he's alive, saying, oh no, there's military testing. We'll get to that in a second, but he's gonna be playing. I think he's gonna be around for a bit. And the one thing that got me too is obviously Plastique was set up to go and do this because the doc knew that she was gonna get killed because she wasn't immortal. She just had this power, right? And the only thing is with me is like I want to see like a regular kind of character because they're killing off all these metahumans like by the end of the show. It's like, well, you can only create so many, and like you gotta have some sort of recurring character. I mean, it doesn't have to be every single show, but at least 3 or 4 in a row or that sort of thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It kind of becomes an issue creating someone new every week. It's kind of something Smallville ran into, and on that show they had them where every week they would put them in a mental institution because their thing was they would learn that Clark Kent was he was Superman, but they didn't call him that then. Yeah. And so they put him in a mental institution, and that played out later in the episode, kind of like what they're doing with the Flash, but putting them in this sort of prison where everyone ended up getting out and then getting their revenge because another character ended up in the institution. So it kind of set up something to play with later, but I don't know if the Flash is really setting that up to do something in the future with.
Not absolutely 100% positive with that. But I mean, like I said, I want to see a bit more of a recurring character, but there's some interesting things that are going to be coming up, and I'm not sure exactly when. I know I think 1 or 2 of them at least will start building kind of towards just past the halfway point, which is pretty much coming up. And so there's some interesting things. What's her name? Just jumping back to Arrow for a second. Because I believe it's Felicity's boss.